Hello and welcome to Silverstone in Northamptonshire for rounds 4, 5 and 6 of the British Formula 3 Championship. Now, the ultimate aim of all the drivers racing here this weekend is to end up on the top step of the podium racing in F1. But they have to prove themselves here first around this formidable Grand Prix circuit. So let's see what they're made of.
Going through Maggots and Beckett's and Cops in these cars, it's flat out.
Great champions drive here almost every year in the Grand Prix.
When you steer, you really feel the cars moving, working. Yeah, for me, it's really cool, pretty fast.
Now, the season kicked off a couple of weeks ago at Rockingham. Here's Martin Haven to bring us up to date.
There were 3 close races at the tight Northamptonshire circuit. Edinburgh teenager Sam McLeod showed his class, taking 2 impressive wins. The final race fell to Oxford's Matt Rowell. However, his weekend started far more dramatically. A big lock-up in race 1 meant he was going to have to fight his way back into contention. An over-ambitious move on Peter Lee ruined both their races.
Yeah, I'm not used to doing such long races. Normally my races are only about 20 minutes, so I thought I was time up, but turns out I had loads of time left. So yeah, the start was, we had a decent start, but yeah, over-ambitious, try to jump Sam at the first corner and really should have maybe done a bit more of a tactical race.
There was a promising debut by young American Cameron Kaminsky. He showed lots of pace, and despite a few mistakes in the races, he was right in the fight.
I mean, it's just a wonderful experience. I mean, it's so much fun in the cars. You learn so much every time you go out. You just progress and progress as there's a lot to learn. But I mean, I'm just loving it every time again. You came out here as you learn the best out in Europe compared to back in the States. So that's my aim. That's what I'm looking forward to. The aim is Formula 1, so if you want to do that, I think it's good to come out here, learn the tracks, and the competition is quite high.
Consistency outscored wins. Martin Chow leads the way with 3 second places in Rockingham. There are a couple of new drivers for Silverstone. Russian racer Igor Orodchev is using a gap in the calendar from 2-litre Formula Renault to gain valuable experience. However, one young driver with lots of Formula 3 experience is Marvin Kirchhofer, the reigning German champion.
Yeah, for me, it's a great opportunity to race this weekend in the British Formula 3. I got that opportunity from Fortec. It's a good preparation for me for the GP3 season or for the GP3 round over here, because I'm not so experienced on this track, and yeah, I need to improve many things, so this is a quite good first step.
So let's take a look at the front of the grid, shall we? And on pole position, it's our points leader, Martin Chow. Now, tucked in just behind him are 2 unknowns. In second place, racing for Carling, is Igor Orodchev. And in third place, it's the German F3 champion, Marvin Kirchhofer.
Round 4 of the Coupetage British Formula 3 Series. The safety car has pulled in at a very wet Silverstone, and we go racing. There's your poleman, Martin Chow, leading young Russian Igor Orodchev. 18-year-old, like everybody else behind the race leader, can see almost nothing in these vile conditions. The rain has just about stopped, but so much of a downpour, the track is absolutely awash. Into the Beckett's S's, and there's a mistake from Martin Chow, has to go straight on. Leader always finds the worst conditions first. Orodchev sweeps around. Is he going to get by him onto the hanger straight? It looks as though Chow has got his momentum back. Huge puddles there. Lakes of water running across the track. And despite the wet weather tyres, the car's just skiing over the top of them. Frankly, that must be absolutely terrifying. Martin Chow, the race leader, from Igor Orodchev into the Vale. And Orodchev on the inside, Chow using the wide line, not defensive enough. Orodchev is through, the Russian has the lead, and Chow can't get back at him there. Just look at the tracks of water in front of them. 2 laps behind this safety car will have given them some idea where the worst of the water was, but that was at very much slower speeds than this, and the aquaplaning will be considerably worse. For Orodchev now, out in front, he's got visibility with Andy Chang. He's chasing Marvin Kirchhofer, the German with lots of Formula 3 experience. He won the German Championship last year, possibly not too many races as wet as this. Andy Chang from Macau in China. The youngster has got experience already of what the British summer can throw at you. Dry races in Rockingham and very wet here in Silverstone in the qualifying session, and wetter still now in the race. Chang in the blue car, still attacking, goes a long way around the outside. Now that is the wet weather line, trying to avoid the rubber and oil that's down on the normal racing line, has his nose cut off by Kirchhofer. And into Luffield now, he's going to try and use a tighter line, but that means he can't chase the throttle quite so much. And you just see the car in front is, what, 8 feet in front of him and absolutely disappears into the spray. Well, no wonder you see them fanning out on the straight. That's not to be aggressive, that's just to have a clue where Cops Corner is as they turn in there at around 140 miles an hour. With Marvin Kirchhofer closing in on Martin Chow into the Beckett's S's, but you see, not only does the car disappear, the road disappears in front of you in the wall of spray that these wet weather tyres throw up. They shift dozens of litres a second up into the air, and the massive rooster tails just obliterate everything. Kirchhofer with a massive moment, that river coming onto the hangar straight, and there's another one just before the braking area right here, and you see Chow skate across it, and Kirchhofer is almost spun off the track as he doesn't hit it straight. Terrifying stuff. Let's ride on board. Look, he's moving to get visibility, and even as he starts to turn the wheel, he hits the water, and it nearly throws him into the scenery. Last lap of the race for Igor Orodchev, and the last couple of corners. I'm sure there can't be many checkered flags in his life that he's been happier to see. His British Formula 3 debut here at Silverstone, and in some of the worst conditions we've seen in the championship for several years. He is going to head to victory. A maiden win for the 18-year-old from St. Petersburg, and Martin Chow is going to finish in second. Marvin Kirchhofer makes his British Formula 3 debut, 3rd place on the podium. It's a 4th consecutive runner-up spot for Martin Chow, behind our race winner, Igor Orodchev.
Quite difficult conditions on the straight. It was too much water. The corners were fine, but the straight was full of water, so we had big aquaplaning on the rivers crossing the track, so I nearly went off once, so it was quite difficult to stay on track.
Congratulations to Igor Orodchev for taking his first win in British Formula 3. Join us after the break to see if he can do it again in race 2. It's time for race 2 here at Silverstone, and the weather is looking very nice, although the forecast not quite so optimistic. Let's take a look at your front 3, shall we? And on pole, it's Matt Rao. Tucked in behind him in second is Andy Chang. And in third, it's the German Marvin Kirchhofer.
Round 5, Coupetage British Formula 3 Championship with Marvin Kirchhofer in third on the grid as the lights go out. What a great getaway. Leaves the front row for dead as he turns into Kops in the lead. 3 wide behind for third. Igor Orodchev way off there. On board with the Russian. Comes back on and contact. Clatters into Andy Chang. And Chang's car taking a wet and muddy ride across the grass. He has got to have damage. On board with Peter Lee, the second of the Carlin cars on the hangar straight. Well, slick tyres, a dry track at the moment. The sky in that direction doesn't look too bad, but really threatening out to the west of Silverstone. Matt Rao in second place. There is Marvin Kirchhofer in front of him. Rao starting on pole position. Top 5 from race 1 were inverted, and up the inside very quickly, striking Martin Chow. Chow saw the main chance there and dived to the inside, catching his teammate completely unawares. Now here comes Matt Rao, looking at the inside. You wasn't convinced he had enough room there, and I think he might have been right. And look at the cloud in front. That is pelting with rain, and it's very close to Silverstone. And there is Igor Orodchev. That contact with Andy Chang has wrecked both their cars. Take a look again from the outside. Orodchev very wide in the dark blue number 2. Chang goes wide and comes back on, but Orodchev really wasn't looking in his mirrors at all. Clattered Chang out of the race. And Orodchev is out as well. Oh, that's Cameron Kaminsky. Now, he has gone off at Kopp's corner. Let's take a look. Water on the camera lens. It's raining at Kopp's now. And a lurid double spin into the barriers for Cameron Kaminsky. The American driver is out of the car. He's A-OK. You can hear the rain on the awning. The Carlin boys in pit road in shirt sleeves. As Peter Lee comes down. Are they ready for this? Well, they're as prepared as you can be in a championship that doesn't have tyre changes. They are going to put him onto wets. Is that going to pay off? Well, here's the gamble. A, it's not actually going to rain for very long, and the wet weather tyres are going to be destroyed before the end, and you'll drop back. B, you lose so much time you never catch up. And C, if it really rains, because it's been started as a dry race, it could be red flagged. Race leader Marvin Kirchhoffer and the Fortec team are gambling on staying out. There is Martin Chow in second place, Matt Rao, the third of the Fortec cars, in third spot. See how wet his helmet is, so he's been driving through rain. Peter Lee, no spray at all coming up from the tyres there. Now as he gets onto the hanger straight, there definitely is rain, so it is coming. And the question is...
1 second in the first sector.
Right, well, he is a lot quicker on those wet weather tyres, and now, as a result, in comes Matt Rao. The Fortec team have decided to offer their drivers the choice, I think, and Rao has gone with the wets. Can they get him back out before Peter Lee catches? Lee still not getting full benefit on all the track from the wet weather tyres. Half the track is dry enough for slits. As we head back towards the pits, though, down the Wellington Straight, it's definitely wet weather tyre territory. If the race lasts long enough, wet weather tyre gamblers may win it. However, at the moment, Matt Rao, like Peter Lee, showing that it's a little bit of an intermediate set of conditions. Down the hanger straight he comes, out of the pits. He's retained his position in front of Peter Lee, so no dramas in the pits. Leaders are staying out. Number 3, Marvin Kirchhoffer, does not want to give up track position. He will struggle on and hope that if it gets really dangerous, he's still on the grey stuff if it gets red flagged. And that is drama for Matt Rao. The car is stuck, can't be moved, red flags are out, he's in a dangerous position. And here's what happens. Comes down the end of the Wellington Straight, turns into Brooklands, wheel nut drops off the car, followed by the wheel. And he is stuck where anybody else could easily go off. On board. Oh, yep, that wasn't coming back in a hurry. So maybe luck, maybe judgment, but those who stayed out benefited. Peter Lee takes third, Martin Chow second, but it's a first British win for Marvin Kirchhoffer.
The start was dry, so everything went well. I started from P3 to P1 immediately in the first corner. Then over the race it started to rain, and it was quite difficult at the end to keep it on track because it's quite slippery, and then with the slick tires and the wet conditions there, it was not too easy.
Now, the cars in British Formula 3 are an amazing bit of kit, and in fact many Formula 1 drivers still rate them as the greatest machines they have ever used. But just what is it that makes them so special?
All of what happens in a Formula 3 car happens in a Formula 1 car, more than any other formula in the world. So it's a very good one for creating experience for a young driver. I think still the most important.
My time in Formula 3 in '97 was one of the most enjoyable seasons of my career, actually. I really loved it.
A lot of drivers have gone from Formula 3 straight to Formula 1.
Yeah, British Formula 3 has a great track record of producing some great young drivers.
A lot of the team principals in Formula 1 look at Formula 3.
It's still a stepping stone, isn't it? A very, very important stepping stone.
You drive a Formula 3 car quickly, you can drive anything quickly. That's a fact.
You know, this is the University of Motor Racing. Good drivers who excel in Formula 3 will have a long career in motor racing. And so the drivers get to learn about car setup much more than they would in most other formulas. I mean, if you look at IndyCar or Formula 1, and the World Sports Car Championship is littered with ex-Formula 3 champions and good Formula 3 drivers, because they have a unique help by going forward with their understanding of cars and how to make cars go quick and feel nice to drive.
But the beauty of the F3 car, it's super light and it's nimble. So when the driver, when he turns the steering wheel just 1 millimetre, the car reacts. The front end goes, and so it's like it's like a scalpel. You know, it's so precise. It does everything you want instantly. Anyone that drives an F3 car just loves the experience because it's so rewarding. It's almost like it's hardwired to your brain. You almost think your way into a corner and it does it.
The brain does take a few weeks, months probably, 1,000 kilometres to get used to corner entry speeds and braking capabilities and stuff. But it's a fantastic car and a fantastic series to learn.
I think the only car that really comes close to an F3 car experience is a Formula 1 car, because it's got a similar power to grip ratio. So that's why F1 drivers remember their F3 days with great fondness.
Well, it's time for the last race of the weekend here at Silverstone, and as you can see, the man on pole is this man here with the noisy engine, Mr. Martin Chow. It's his second time on pole for the weekend. Couldn't make the most of it last time out, but will he fare better with a second bite of the cherry?
Round 6 of the Coupe British Formula 3 Championship with Martin Chow on pole. Igor Orychev should have been alongside, but a 5-place grid drop sees him 7th rather than 2nd as we get away. Looks as though we may get a dry race here. Slick tyres, dry track at the start. Orychev trying to slip inside Peter Lee in front of him. And right there you can see Cameron Kaminski and Andy Chang. Chang just gets his nose in front of Matt Rao. 2 red and white cars leading. Marvin Kirchhoffer for 2nd on the grid ahead of poleman Martin Chow. Then Andy Chang in the blue car with the white side pods. Chang though with Matt Rao right behind him. Looking at his mirrors, Chang moves to the right-hand side down the hangar straight. And that leaves the door wide open for Matt Rao to sweep around on the grippy racing line and take 3rd place. That was really an open door there. Matt Rao got such a good draft early on Andy Chang. He passed him without any dramas before the braking area. Chang just ahead of his own teammate Cameron Kaminski, and behind Kaminski, Igor Orychev, the Russian. Youngster racing in 2-litre Formula Renault Euro Cup. May well be shaping up for a Formula 3 season next year. Off has gone Chang in front, meandering around very slowly in front of us, but will he recover? Not quite enough. Kaminski goes by in 34, Chang with the Macau side pods. On the outside, Orychev, car number 2, trying to get the drive on the inside, not quite enough, too tight there. Chang just had the momentum to hang on. Orychev checks the mirrors before he launches an attack. Is he going to have a go down here into Brooklands? Well, Chang deep down on the inside. Can't get by Kaminski. Drifts out a little wide, and that allows Orychev in the darker blue car to close up. Russian in number 2. We ride with him once more. Let's double our pit wall. Closing the shades. Anthony Boyo Hyatt, the Welshman who runs the team. Still a lot of smoke coming off the back of Chang's car. Gets wilder and wilder into the Beckett's S's. Orychev with a much better control of the line, and look what that's done. The Russian right on the tail of Chang now, and pulls out down the hangar straight. I think maybe that's why Matt Rao got by Andy Chang so easily on the opening lap. Chang has not yet got the Beckett's S's exit sorted out. The Chapel Curve, the most important part of that complex. Got to get off it quickly onto the hanger straight, or you are dead in the water. And Oranchev has just proved that. He's gone by Chang up into 5th position. Now he is attacking Cameron Kaminski for 4th. Running out wide as they come past the wing, the brand new, relatively new now, Silverstone Formula 1 pit lane. How much the right tyre grains up in that fast right-hander at the end of the straight. Down the inside, really throws it up the inside. Kaminski had no choice but to open the steering there and allow him to go, or he would have ended up in an accident. Well, from the start with Matt Rao, way too much wheel spin as Chow from pole tries to cover off Kirchhoffer, but Kirchhoffer made a blinding start. Kirchhoffer, the race leader, made an excellent getaway in race 2 as well. Now leading here in race 3. Martin Chow in 2nd place. It's Kirchhoffer's experience in Formula 3 cars that is really showing so strongly here at Silverstone. Especially when conditions are good, he's driving away from the opposition. Oh, there's Igor Oranchev, left rear wheel askew. What's happened there? And there's his teammate Peter Lee coming very slowly to the edge of the track. Is that 2 and 2? Let's see what happened. On board with Igor Oranchev in the Beckett's S's. Coming up to the Chapel curve, runs off wide. Oh my goodness me, and the car gets away from him. Now, was it broken suspension that put him off, or was going off caused the break? And this is what happened to Peter Lee. Well, that's unrelated to anything Oranchev-wise. So he is out with some mechanical failure. Engine or drive somewhere has gone askew. Meanwhile, checkered flag awaits. Marvin Kirchhoffer, our race 2 winner, is romping towards victory here in race 3 at Silverstone. The battle on still for 2nd place. Martin Chow just ahead of Matt Rao, but it is going to be Kirchhoffer that leads a 1-2-3 for Fortec as he takes his 2nd win of the weekend. With Matt Rao in 3rd place and Martin Chow in 2nd, it's Marvin Kirchhoffer who heads the Fortec Motorsport 1-2-3.
You must be pretty chuffed with that.
Yeah, it was a cool race. Not a good experience over here. I had a good start and then I could take the lead and yeah, just get it home, and yeah, I'm quite happy now.
I mean, it was a gigantic lead.
So
it was a huge lead.
I didn't know. Just in the beginning, I kept checking my mirrors, looking how the gap was, but then at the end, honestly, I could not see him anymore.
Well, I think it's fair to say the weather has once again played its part in British Formula 3, but what we have seen is some good, close racing. Silverstone, as always, has delivered. So where next for our lads? Well, we're packing up and heading to Snetterton. We'll see you there.